Hey everybody, John Skiba here from the Consumer Warrior YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about 4 reasons that bankruptcy may be just a horrible idea. But if this is your first time here to my YouTube channel, please click subscribe, check on that little bell, that way you'll be notified each week when I put out new videos that'll help you deal with serious debt problems. All right, in today's video, I here on the YouTube channel, I talk a lot about bankruptcy, the process. Today I'm going to go a little bit of a different angle and tell you there's 4 reasons that you should probably not file bankruptcy because they could make the whole situation a lot more messy. The first one we're going to talk about is, and I'm going to be talking about Chapter 7 bankruptcy specifically, but the first one is if you make too much money. I know this seems a little backward. People may be thinking, oh, if you have a lot of money, why are you filing for bankruptcy? As the saying goes, more money, more problems. You may have a lot of debt to go with it, but so you're wanting to file Chapter 7 to get rid of that debt. But part of the issue is if your income is too high, you will not pass the means test that's required in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Now, what the means test is they have numbers, the federal government has numbers on the average income for a family of your size in your state. So if you're a married couple with 2 kids, they'll look at a household of 4, look at your average monthly income and determine if you are at or below that. If you're at or below those income limits, you automatically qualify. You can file Chapter 7. Things are good. If you're above that, you don't qualify for Chapter 7, and you have a couple options. One, there may be some deductions we can make to get you below that. So I tell people that are just barely over the means test numbers to talk to a bankruptcy attorney because they can deduct secured debt payments like home loans, car loans, taxes, child support, alimony, all that kind of stuff. So you may still be able to qualify for Chapter 7 if you're just a little bit above it. If you're way above the means test, then you need to look at a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Kind of gets you to the same place, just takes a whole lot longer and it's more expensive to do it. That's why most people prefer a Chapter 7. The way that we calculate your income for the means test, we take an average of all of your income over the last 6 months. So if you're trying to put those numbers together to talk to an attorney, you might want to look at what that average is, particularly if your income is not consistent or if you're self-employed. You need to look at your total income for your household over that last 6 months. So that's the number 1 reason that you may not be filing a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is because your income is simply too high. The second reason is you have too many non-exempt assets. Now, the idea behind a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, they're going to wipe out all your debt. At least the unsecured debts like credit cards, medical bills, those debts are going to go away completely. The trade-off is they're going to require you to disclose all of your assets. Now, a bankruptcy trustee that's assigned to your case will look at those assets and determine can they take any of those assets, sell them, and give the money to your creditors. Now, the good news is there are these laws called exemption laws. These exemptions protect many of the basics that most people have. Like most people have heard of the homestead exemption. Most states have an exemption for not only your home, but cars, retirement accounts, household goods. Arizona even has exemptions for firearms and musical instruments. So there's all these exemptions that protect your stuff, but there's a dollar amount associated with it. So for example, in the state of Arizona, the homestead exemption protects up to $250,000 of equity in a home. But if you have, let's for say example, you have more than $250,000 of equity in your home. Let's say you have $300,000 or $400,000 of equity in your home. You're in a situation there, if you file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, the court will step in, they'll sell your house, pay off the mortgage, give you $250,000 for your homestead exemption, and then all the rest of those monies would go to pay off your creditors. So if you have a lot of non-exempt assets, whether it be vehicles, houses, boats, whatever it is, Chapter 7 might not be a good idea because it might be a little too painful. Again, we'd probably look at more of a Chapter 13 or other types of debt settlement options to be able to deal with your debt. The third reason you may not want to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy is if there have been a lot of transfers of assets in the last 2 years in your life. For example, if you transferred the title to a family member or friend on a vehicle or a boat and you didn't receive anything in return, you just gave it away. Or if you have done what are called preferential payments. These are payments where you have loans from family members or friends and you've been making payments in the last 12 months. the court can go back and retrieve those 12 months of payments, require that the money be turned over, and then make a distribution to your creditors on a pro rata basis. So if you have done transfers, or if you have been paying back family members or friends, that may be a reason not to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy. One caution here, before you make a decision of, oh, I guess bankruptcy is not an option, you should really talk to a bankruptcy attorney and bring this up. In many of those situations, we can deal with it and make it so that it's something where it's minimally painful. You can still get the bankruptcy relief that you need and still deal with the preferential payment issue. Now, the fourth reason is one of these reasons that I don't see almost ever. But if you've been engaged in true fraud, we're talking Bernie Madoff fraud, you have some kind of scheme going on, or you've defrauded somebody out of money, those types of debts are typically non-dischargeable. Not only that, what will happen is if you file for bankruptcy and there's a creditor that's alleging that you committed actual fraud, they'll actually file a lawsuit against you called an adversary proceeding in the bankruptcy that'll be expensive, time-consuming, and very stressful. So that one is one of these ones we rarely see, but it's one of those things to know. If there have been some fraudulent activities, or at least something that a creditor thinks was fraudulent, you could have some serious headaches in going through the bankruptcy process. So if you're trying to determine if bankruptcy is a good option for you, again, all of these things are things to definitely consider, and they may disqualify you from filing a Chapter 7, but you need to talk to a bankruptcy attorney in your state that knows your exemptions. Here in Arizona, I offer free consultations where we can review it, determine if this is the best option for you, and then help you plan accordingly. My contact information is below, and thanks for watching today.